I think it's Chinese wisdom that tells us that even the longest journey begins with your feet underneath you and the first step. And the first step for the food chain was on Christmas Day in 1988, when a group of people prepared a meal, a Christmas dinner, for friends of theirs and delivered that meal as an act of friendship and kindness. And that was at a time when friendship and kindness and care was in quite small supply for people who were living with HIV and AIDS.
The early morning starts, I think, are the things that come back to me first of all, and going into a freezing cold kitchen on winter mornings and trying to get the room warm enough with the kind of puffy old heaters that there were at Kentish Town Kitchen.
I had a beaten up old black taxi, which was very useful because it meant I could go down the bus lanes and people didn't notice.
So here we are. I didn't realise it was that long. It's 25 years now. Two very dear friends of mine, they said, would you volunteer? So I said, yes, I would. And I enjoyed it so much that, well, here I am 22 years later.
We also still run the meal service, which is, the longest standing service that we have.
Okay, 10 minutes, let's just wipe down, get everything ready, put away that doesn't need to be out, so we can plate up, please. Yeah.
So I think what's so great about the package of care that we provide is that, say, if a service user has been recently discharged from hospital and they're, have acute sickness and they're very unwell, we can provide them with access to food by our grocery delivery and also by our Sunday meal. So it means they gain access to food, so that will hopefully speed up their recovery and prevent readmissions to hospital as well.
I was told I was underweight. I think I thought about gaining weight previously, but I don't think I'd ever done it, and I thought I couldn't. They proved me wrong.
Went into hospital about 12 months ago, with pneumonia, and they asked me to take a test, and they told me that I had HIV.
So a lot of the service users that are referred to us are referred for financial reasons. A lot of people don't have access to food, which has a knock-on effect on their medication. So a lot of service users will tell us that they don't take their medication because they need to take it with food, and if they don't have access to food, then they're not going to take it. Also, a lot of medication has a lot of side effects if it's not taken with food. So obviously, if people are suffering from these side effects, they don't want to take them if they're not going to feel well afterwards.
I was about half of the weight that I am now. The test results were alarming. A couple of times I actually collapsed in the street because I didn't even have the money to travel. So when I was at the clinic, I did mention that, and I was referred on the very same day to an agent from THT that contacted the food chain, and the food chain contacted me the very next day. Food chain was really the first concrete and physical service that I received. Going back home and knowing there's something in the fridge, there's something in the cupboard, something like you can make yourself a cup of tea.
But with our service, we also follow on and see when they get well that we can help get them back to better health. With their cooking classes, they have recipes that they can use at home. So initially, we help them get well, and then with the eating together, it's getting them to stay well and promoting independence as well.
I've been to cookery. Yes, last year I made pastry for the first time ever.
Yes, I have managed to do cottage pie, and I also, thanks to the chef down at the food chain, I have a healthier breakfast. I'm also doing a bit of collecting as well, because they've given me so much, I want to put something back.
So again, with our service, I think having that option to volunteer at the end is fantastic, because sometimes they like to give something back, and again, it's promoting independence and social interaction.
Okay, try and go as fast as you can. Raise the heart rate a little bit. Set the shoulders opened up.
This is a bit of a first for the food chain. We've not organised our own sponsored walk, and it's one of the many ways in which we're trying to mark the 25 years of excellent work that the food chain has been doing in London since 1988. It's a particularly nice pleasure to welcome some new people to the food chain who don't know about us yet, and so who will hopefully learn about us during the course of the walk, and also to say hello to the many, dare I say, old-timers who are still with us. You're a great mixture of staff and volunteers and service users, so it's fantastic to see so many people here.
I hope that you continue in the way that you're going. Grow it seems like everything's growing. The kitchen here at Acorn House and all the extra services that you offer are really impressive. There's clearly a team of people here who are innovative, so I encourage that, absolutely support that. I just hope you always keep getting the money in, keep delivering the services.
I'm very grateful that actually they're giving up their Sundays, which is for most days they're one clear day, and that's very good of them.
I cannot thank enough the food chain for what they did for me. Without the food chain, I really don't know what I would have done. I really don't know.
It would be nice if there was no need for food chain, but unfortunately there is, and they do a fantastic job.
The bit that the food chain does in regards of HIV people, I think it's an invaluable service. I mean, if the food chain was to disappear now, that would be an absolute crisis and catastrophe for a lot of service users.
I was in a bad way 6 months ago, right? Or maybe even more, right? But with people's help, I'm getting there. I won't say I'm there yet, but I'm getting there.